All right. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be in time and space. All my flight simming friends. Kinneas here, episode number 324 of Skydude. After being pecked by a radioactive bird, a somewhat mannered Tuthill was compelled to become Kinneas, the Skydude. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so the daily ritual. Okay, so I like doing a lot of role playing sometimes when I'm flying around, and the first thing I like to do is I imagine that there are these bad guys out there, right, that don't really like Skydude. Right, and any given opportunity, they might want to try to tinker with the plane that we're going to use. Today, we're going to be using a 737 MAX. We're going to be going from JEJU Island in South Korea, somewhere in China, I think. Could be Russia, could be China. I'm not really certain yet. I haven't looked up exactly where ZBDS is. We're going to be going from RKPC to ZBDS. Let me type that in the chat room. RKPC to ZBDS. Today should be pretty exciting. Okay. So what I like to do is, it's one way to practice emergency situations by having a random failure application. And that's what I've got here in the lower corner is the random failures app. And there are a number of systems that can fail. Show you that here. All right, so flight controls, gear, fuel, panel, engine, brake, and other. And in each one of these, there's multiple items that can fail. Okay, so we want to give the bad guys an opportunity to try to tinker with any plane that we're going to use today. So there's seven items here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'll get a D&D Dungeons and Dragons D8 dice. And on a roll of an 8, they're unsuccessful. So let me change that D6 to D8 here. Make sure that you're seeing what's going on here. Let me hide Bushtalk. Okay. So you see that's D8 up in the corner. Now let me go ahead and roll. Again, on an 8, they're unsuccessful at tinkering with the plane. A 1. They got a 1 yesterday. So that would be something to do with our flight controls. Now in flight controls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 8 items. So we get a D10 instead of a straight up 8. Got to have a little bit of leeway. So a D10. Actually, before I roll, let me see if anybody's in the chat room. Nope, nobody's here. Okay, I wanted to give myself some pluses if there's anybody watching. Okay, so a D10 on a 9 or a 10, the bad guys are unsuccessful. So let's roll that dice. A 3. Elevator trimmer stuck. No, wait. Elevator stuck. Okay, now there's in here in the random failure app, there's a 0 to 1,000% chance. I don't know why they just didn't make it 100, but not a big deal. So now I need to get a 100-sided dice and roll the dice. 21. So change that to 210. So there's a 210% chance Hey, what are you doing up there? Save it. 210. Save. Let's double check that it's saved. Okay. Elevator stuck. Enabled. 210% chance. Save. Okay. Now, under settings, these are all the things that can cause possible failure triggers. Speed, minimum 50 knots to max 150 knots. Altitude, minimum 300 to max 5,000. Time, a minimum of 5 minutes to a maximum of 3,600 minutes, or instant failure. Limit number of failures to 99 attempts, and that's saved. Okay, then we go to presets. Let me check the fail list, see if there's anything currently failure. Pitot 2 blockage. So I must have had that one set. So that'd be, would that be other? Pitot 2 blockage. So let me clear this one out of here. All right, so now we have to just turn it on. So I go back to overview and hit start. Okay, so let's see if let's clear the failure list. Okay, so it hasn't failed. So, but there's a chance it could happen. And that could, again, gives us an opportunity to deal with random failures during a flight. Adds a little bit of danger to the show. Okay, so again, the flight is from RKPC to ZBDS. Should be about 1 hour approximately. It says up here 2 hours and 30 minutes. On the main screen, it said an hour. So I apologize. It said an hour, and now it's saying 2 hours and 30 minutes in here. So if it gets too long, I'll just do a skip. I'm going to put in some more fuel. Might as well just top up. Okay. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're having a good time flying, doing whatever you're doing. If you're currently playing something else other than Flight Simulator and you got something to show off, please let me know. If there's anything you posted on your channels that I've missed, check it out. Let me know and I'll chat and I'll fix that. Okay, looks like we were clipping there a moment. What do you call it? Screen tearing? Like VSync isn't active? Just double check. VSync is not on. It could be because I don't need frame generation on. Okay. So yesterday's flight, we're getting ho-ho. That sounds Chinese. It does not sound Russian. So yesterday's flight went pretty well. We're getting more and more, I'm getting more and more experience with this 737. We're slowly starting to become friends. Let's turn on the all right. So I'm establishing my connection to the Bushtalk client. Had a lot of fun listening to local radio from JEJU Island yesterday. YouTube didn't like it so much, but I sure had a good time.
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. The jetway is going to be connected.
JEJU ground. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Could you please send the baggage?
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Baggage is on the way.
Well, those people are going to walk right off that jetway and fall right onto the pavement.
Boarding
JEJU ground. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Could you please send a catering?
See how the screen is doing that weird crap like that? It shouldn't be doing that. I just installed the latest NVIDIA driver. So, not good, NVIDIA. Yeah, and VSync is on. Not good. No, not happy with this at all. Maybe it'll mellow out in the flight. Hopefully when I'm spinning around and doing stuff, it'll stabilize, but I just finished installing the latest NVIDIA driver. So even in drone camera, it's giving me the fits. It's not good. Oh, NVIDIA. This is garbage, man. Oh, that's awful.
JEJU ground. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214 ready to copy IFR clearance to Zulu Bravo Delta Sierra.
Let me go to the NVIDIA control panel and reset things there.
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214 is cleared to Zulu Bravo Delta Sierra Airport via the Romeo Delta Romeo Tree Whiskey departure. Expect runway 25. Maintain flight level tree 60. Departure frequency is 119.225, squawk 0464.
So they want us at 36,000 feet. Give me just a minute here. I'm tinkering with the
On board, Captain.
NVIDIA control panel here.
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214, please acknowledge.
Clear to Zulu Bravo Delta Sierra via the Romeo Delta Romeo Tree Whiskey departure.
No, look at the trucks jittering around.
Level tree 60. Departure frequency is 119.225, squawk 0464. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 421.
What did you guys do?
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214.
They broke it.
Contact ground on 121.675 when ready to taxi. Good day.
Ha 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 ha. See if we're getting the same thing in the cockpit. Yeah, we sure are. Well, I guess today's episode is going to be about what NVIDIA just did to our simulator. I'm going to restart the simulator. Give it the benefit of the doubt. We'll try it one time. And I just restarted a couple of times. After you install a driver, it's a good idea to usually restart the machine a couple of times. Make sure it sticks in the registry. And let me not start it from the NVIDIA app. Let me just start it from normal. After being pecked by a radioactive bird, a somewhat mannered Tuthill was compelled to become Kinneas, the Skydude. Oh, not you again. After being pecked by a radioactive bird. Oh, just stop. Okay. I switched frame gen off. Thank you. Hello, Forza. Hello. Zuoplick. Well, while you're here and in the chat room, let me go ahead and go to your channel. I have a minute here and let me subscribe to you. Zuoplick. I don't see any content on your channel yet, but I'm going to go ahead and subscribe. We all start somewhere. All right, so frame gen, it was turned off, but I'll double check. Okay, frame gen, none. Off. VSync on. I'll try it with I will try it with VSync on, and then we'll try it with VSync off if we have any problems. Hey, it's okay. Hey, it doesn't matter if you have any content. Eventually, you might have some content, and I will check it out. We all start somewhere. Thanks for stopping by the way. I really appreciate it. Oh, look we're getting texture flickering. NVIDIA, what did you do? That seems to be better there.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's make this flight to Ho-Ho a great experience.
All right, that's better. I'm not getting any flickering. I'm going to speed things up a bit. I think I'm just going to get us to the, I'm gonna skip taxi.
JEJU Tower, Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214 ready for departure. Runway 25, IFR to Zulu Bravo Delta Sierra.
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214, QNH 1006. Cleared for takeoff, runway 25.
1006.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 25.
Okay.
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214.
So the altimeter is 1006. Now you might have a quick key that you can push, but right now we're in basically American settings for altimeter. So you need to come up here to your barometer and switch this here to HPA. Okay. And then that'll show you European, and that is correct now, 1006. Okay, 36,000 feet set. Get this out of the way. Arm the speed brake, might as well. I need to set the auto throttle to arm. And that's really all we have to do.
To all passengers, prepare for takeoff. Please ensure your seatbelt is fastened tightly. Your seat is in the upright position and your tray table.
Hey, we've got somebody new in the chat room.
Thank you.
Hey, W94. It really baffles me that Asobo didn't add the DC-3 to career. Literally their most stable aircraft. I've got my fingers crossed that they're going to add more and more soon, and I hope sooner than later. Hey, while you're here at KW94, let me go to your channel and subscribe. KW94, subscribe. No content on your channel yet, but again, we all start somewhere. So happy to be subscribed just the same. LNAV, RVNAV. I can put on LNAV, but sometimes when we take off, well, I'll do it. I'll go ahead and turn it on, but I don't think it really sometimes it doesn't engage right off the bat. You have to do a heading. The 737's weird. Flaps in the 5 position. Okay. What are we getting a beep for? Brakes are off. Flaps are fine. That's weird.
V1, rotate.
Okay, up, up, and away.
We've left the landing gear down. Seems we missed that step.
Contact JEJU departure on 119.225. Good day.
119.225. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214.
Forward.
JEJU departure. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214 is passing 1,800 feet, climbing flight level tree 60.
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214, JEJU departure. QNH 1006. Radar contact. Continue.
We were listening to local radio in Bushtalk, the Bushtalk Radio app yesterday, and so I had all the sounds turned down pretty darn low. There we go. A little weird when you don't hear anything. JEJU Island is really nice. I had a good time flying around it yesterday. They got some cool radio stations. All right, so now I want to, let's check these legs. Vectors to Namak to Viper to Rosie. Urtag, Lucky Rabbit, Bodal. Just gonna look down through here for any discontinuities. We have a discontinuity here.
Kilo Lima 4214, contact Incheon Center on 125.45. Good day.
And then we have a discontinuity here.
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Did you hear my last transmission?
No, I didn't, but I'll respond now.
125.45 for Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Incheon Center, Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214 is passing 10,000 feet, climbing flight level tree 60.
Yeah, that. You think that could have been it? The speed brake being armed at takeoff?
Radar contact, continue.
Yeah, because the flaps were in the right position. And that's the only thing I could think of, is that that is the only thing I did different. I did have the speed brake in the armed position. So, KW94 says the beep is a takeoff config warning. Put QNH to standard. Now that's something I don't understand. What is standard? I've seen other people do it. I just normally leave it on QNH and adjust whenever they tell me to make a change. But I have definitely seen like SimPilot 320 or whatever his name is, and some of the other folks out there, Kip, press it and put it into standard. But I don't know. I don't know why, and I don't know what that does. $15,000 feet. So I'm going to have to look that up and find out more about that one, unless you have an answer. And I'm happy to learn, always learning. That's this whole journey, the whole journey trying to become a Skydude. standard QNH is 1013. So all pilots are having the same flight level. So what do you do though when you're prepping for takeoff and they give you your first? Okay. When you're prepping for takeoff and they give you your first QNH and you come down here, she told me to set it to making sure it was set to 1006. So I come in here and I made sure that it was set to 1006. And then after takeoff, you change it to standard. So I'm assuming that on startup and takeoff, you leave it at whatever they tell you to set it at, and then you hit standard once you're in the air? I don't know. $19,000 feet. Oh, really? So after passing TA, set to QNH. You mean after passing TA set to, what is TA? Top of ascent? After passing TA, then you would set it to standard. When landing, put it back to local. Nice having you along, Captain. Thank you for the education. I appreciate you very, very much. Little graphical weirdness on that window right there. That's minor, but it is a thing. Whoops. Sorry about that. Hey, thank you for even taking a minute out of your day to tune in to my Skydude live stream. So I understand if you gotta go, you gotta go. But I thank you for even coming in. Cheers. Let me grab my coffee here. Here's to your health, well-being, and prosperity, and I hope to see you again. And whatever you're doing today, I hope everything goes well. Smashingly. Smashingly well. They're getting so good at this flight simulator stuff that things that we're going to be wishing for in the future are going to be just like cosmetic things. Like, okay, well, now can I ask the stewardess to get us a cup of coffee? I want the stewardess get us a cup of coffee animation. Mine's a little bit cold. I need to top up. Or don't be lazy. Just I need to go. The doors won't let me out. We're locked in. Yeah, man, after 9/11, everything changed. Can't even have little Bobby up in the cockpit anymore. You like movies about gladiators, Bobby? Our world used to be so different and cool. Our world used to be so cool and groovy. And it's always something. All right. Let's start looking at our charts on the approach. This is not going to be an ILS approach. Oops. I really need to set up my camera controls better to deal with this. What direction are we coming from? Tessan? Okay, so we're coming in at... That's a lot of waypoints. Ugpor, Vexeb, DS502. Okay, so let me look for... There's the DXC VOR, Upgore. It's 10 p.m. and you have school tomorrow. Goodbye. Goodbye. You take care. DS601, DS501, Algov. DS601, DS501. I don't see that at all. DS412. DS531. DS502. DS501. DS503. There's DS502. There's Vexeb. So I'm used to doing... Goodbye. I'm used to doing ILS landings, and I'm not so familiar with these charts. And so So I don't know what the procedure is, and I'm used to, you know, looking at down at the bottom and getting the procedures in. So I'm seeing that we're going to be coming this direction. We're going to be flying this vector here. There's the star, DS602. There's DS502. And then this is our hold position, it seems, right here at DS502. So at this point, are we supposed to be working with approach to just get clearance to land, and then it's a manual approach? Upgore. XEB, DS502, DS412, IGG73, HDS, those holds. No, that's, yeah, runway 31. DS502, XEB. Or 12. I don't see DS412. There's got to be a setting in there that adjusts the clarity of this thing, because it seems that when I mess with settings, then I come back in here, sometimes this looks crystal clear no matter my zoom level, and then now on this whatever I've changed, as I zoom out, it's just dog poop. All right, well, let's look at the MCDU. At the MCDU again, and at the flight plan. Can't really make heads or tails at the moment out of that thing, and I don't know how to make it go. In the Airbus is as you cycle through the flight plan, there we go. It'll move along the flight plan and allow you to zoom in. Okay, so there's DS coming from VEXEV. Go to DS502. So DS412 isn't on that map that I see, but we go straight north. And then IGG73 takes us in. And then if we should miss, it's gonna take us out and back to HD5, HDS. It's like it's putting us in a hold over the airport. Over here, I see what it's, I think. Here's HPHDS, but it's in a window. Runway 31, 4,604. GG 73, 6,890. All right, well, I think I've mostly got it. Vectors to Namak. We're going the wrong way. We're just heading on vectors out. There we go. So what I tried to do is double click Namak and then hit execute to try to make it do a direct to, and that didn't work. So I had to select Namak and then click on the vectors and make it override it that way. Like if I wanted to click on Viper here and then click on Namak, Viper will override Namak. Like this. Now if I execute it, you see how it's telling me it's going to skip Namak and go right to Viper? So now let me hit execute. The MCDU or FMC is definitely different from, in a lot of ways, from the Airbus. All right, 36,000 feet. Did they want us to do beverage stuff? Oh, the next mission step is fly to Namak, and I already just overshot it. Seeing our mission steps in the upper right hand corner. So doing that little example right there, I overrode Namak. Now I don't know how to do a direct to. Now, like, how do you type it in, and how do you do a direct to in the 737? We do a fix? If you know how, I would love to know how. Because all through your flying, up through everything, using GPS, learning how to do all that, all the way up to an airliner, you're used to your direct to option. And then you get into the Boeing and they're like, no, we don't need to give you a direct to button. We're going to do it this way. Well, why are you doing it that way? The whole point is everything that you learn is supposed to scale up. I should be able to move from one aircraft to another, and there should be some sort of standardization. Just because you're Boeing, you get to be different. Well, we don't want any Tom, Dick, or Kinneas just hopping in our aircraft and being able to fly it. That's like the military aircraft. You learn all this stuff, then you hop into a military aircraft and you're like, now I gotta learn all this stuff again. Until I hopped into the F-35, finally stepped into a military aircraft that I understand. Took me a while to figure out the 4-screen thing and how to move between screens and set them up, but 15 minutes. Other than that, it seems to work the way you think it would work. Mostly, I think they kind of bunged up the autopilot a little bit, but that's the way I think it should work, and it's really nice. I haven't flown the F-22, so I can't say much about how standardized that cockpit is. But the F-14 and the F-16, yeah, just so different. I mean, eventually when you find out where everything's at, it'll all eventually make sense, but the F-18, so I wanted to see if I can plug Namek in there. Well, I don't know how to do a direct. The VOR is 1161. 303 true, 308 magnetic. Thousand 554 feet. They do have an ILS. 108,700. Why would they set up the flight VFR? It's IFR. And here it says ILS 31. Cool. All right, so I just typed Namek in there and clicked on Viper, hoping it wouldn't overwrite Viper, which it didn't. It ended up putting it as an entry in front of it again, so now we're back on course. Okay, well, thank you for that making sense. Fantastic day here in Colorado Springs. Hey, if you happen to be tuned in and listening, if there's anything going on with the audio that you don't like, can you let me know? Can you hear me okay? Is the microphone sound okay? Too loud? Too low? Any feedback? Ha ha ha. Any feedback on the audio and my microphone, if there's any problems, would be greatly appreciated. I really need a little soundproof box. This room is it's not big, but it's surrounded by glass windows on all sides. And so I get a lot of reflectivity. I would love to have a more soundproof environment. That'd be great. I was talking to an art buddy the other day. He's working with a gentleman who owns it's like a wine cellar. So he's got like a hangar that he has decked out to, it's like his man cave. And he's got his wine collection in there. And I guess he's got the most amazing sound baffling technology, the latest in sound baffling technology, all up in the environment, because he likes to rock out when people come over to have parties. And he doesn't want to bother his neighbors, so he soundproofed the thing. So my artist friend, he's actually been charged with painting on the sound baffling, and I don't know why the guy would want to do that. But either way, he's got to create murals, and he's been having a really tough time trying to find the right way to get anything to stick. And then if, to me that would defeat the purpose of the sound baffling, all the little pores in it, you're clogging it with paint and stuff. Either way, it's not my money, so I don't, I didn't have any solutions for him, though. I told him maybe try using an airbrush and keep it light, but people with lots of money ask for weird things. But anyway, it got me thinking, man, it'd be great. I'd love to be able to soundproof this room. I don't want to move my operations because this is like my man cave. I could try to build just like a cardboard structure that kind of sits behind my chair and is angled around me a little bit, possibly to create, but put some cardboard, I don't know, material over that to do some sound absorbing. I've done my best with the EQ and the settings in OBS I can to try to make the audio right so you don't pick up any like keyboard tapping or desk tapping or other unnecessary noise, and try to have it suppress a lot of things. That can't be us for flying in the opposite direction. Well, we're not going to pass over it, but the nearest audio, the Gwangju Democratic Uprising. Let me turn down the engine noise. That's still pretty loud. Oh, wrong thing. All right, now let me play this audio clip here.
Political and social upheaval as the country struggled to move towards a more democratic society. The uprising began on May 18, 1980, when students and citizens in the city of Gwangju took to the streets to protest against the military dictatorship of Chun Doo-hwan. The protests quickly turned violent, as the military cracked down on the demonstrators with brutal force. Despite the violence, the citizens of Gwangju continued to resist, and the uprising quickly spread to other cities in Korea. The military responded with even greater force, and the conflict continued for 9 days. In the end, the citizens of Gwangju were able to drive the military out of the city and establish a temporary democracy.
We heard this one yesterday.
The democracy was short-lived. It served as a symbol of hope for the people of Korea, and sparked a movement towards greater democracy and freedom. The Gwangju Uprising was a defining moment in Korean history, and the legacy of the uprising continues to inspire new generations of Koreans to fight for their rights and stand up against oppression. It is a testament to the resilience and strength of the Korean people, who have faced many challenges throughout their history and have always emerged stronger in the end. The Gwangju Uprising also had a profound impact on the Korean political landscape, leading to the establishment of a more democratic government and greater civil liberties. Today, Korea is one of the most prosperous and democratic countries in the world, thanks in part to the courage and sacrifice of the citizens of Gwangju.
Gotta fight for your right to party. They make good TV. I gotta say that. They make good television, man. I just watched one of their programs last night, No Mercy on Netflix. And pretty good. The main character was in another Netflix thing that I watched, or it was Amazon, called Warrior. Oh wait, No Mercy is brutal. Brutal. Humans are amazing. All that development right on the waterways.
Kunsan K-8 Air Base is a United States Air Force base located at Gunsan Airport, on the west coast of the South Korean peninsula bordered by the Yellow Sea. It is located in the town of Gunsan, about 180 kilometers south of Seoul. Kunsan Air Base is the home of the 8th Fighter Wing, the Wolf Pack, assigned to the Pacific Air Force's 7th Air Force and the 38th Fighter Group of the Republic of Korea Air Force. About 45 F-16 aircraft are stationed at the base. It is one of two major Air Force installations operated by the United States Forces Korea, the other being Osan Air Base.
Nice. Not much to do between here and there.
The mud is taken from the Boreal mud flats and trucked to the Deacon Beach area, where it is used as the centerpiece of the Mud Experience land. The mud is considered rich in minerals and used to manufacture cosmetics. The festival was originally conceived as a marketing vehicle for Boreal mud cosmetics. Although the festival takes place over a period of around 2 weeks, it is most famous for its final weekend, which is popular with Korea's Western population. The final weekend of the festival is normally on the second weekend in July.
Yeah, people go there and cover themselves from head to toe in mud. What do we have here to export? We don't have anything, sir. Nothing? We have mud, sir. Well, we'll figure out a way to sell the mud. To Americans. Say it's a beauty product. Actually, people have been using mud masks for a long, long time. Good thing about it, that sounds like pretty easy work. Some shovels. And you're in business. Some shovels and some good rain. I guess you don't even need the rain. Here. This is our dirt. Add water and you get mud. Oh, it's just chock full of good things. So we're kind of heading out over the ocean now. We're going to be over the ocean for, I don't know, probably 20 minutes. There's a bunch of audio tours. Let me flip over and show you. So we are down here. And if we hold this vector, you see that we're going to be out over the ocean for a while. But you see now there's a lot of audio tours up here. So let me go ahead and just listen to some of these anyway.
Capacity of 254 megawatts. When completed in 2011, it surpassed France's 240 megawatts Reims tidal power station, which was the world's largest for 45 years.
Nice.
It is operated by the Korea Water Resources Corporation. Design. The tidal barrage makes use of a seawall constructed in 1994 for flood mitigation and agricultural purposes. 1025.4 megawatts submerged bulb turbines are driven in an unpumped flood generation scheme. Power is generated on tidal inflows only, and the outflow is sluiced away, i.e. as one-way power generation. This slightly unconventional and relatively inefficient approach has been chosen to balance a complex mix of existing land use, water use, conservation, environmental and power generation considerations. The station's mean operating tidal range is 5.6 meters, with a spring tidal range of 7.8 meters. The working basin area was originally intended to be 43 square kilometers and has been reduced by land reclamation and freshwater dikes to 30 square kilometers, likely to be reduced further.
That was on that seawall they talked about right there.
Korea. KPU was established by support from the Ministry of Commerce, Industry, and Energy. Located in Siheung-si, Gyeonggi-do. It was established to cultivate professional technical manpower with strong field adaptability through practical training. The abbreviation in English is KPU, and the abbreviation in Korean is Sangide. As a university established by the government, the proportion of research and laboratory practice is considerably large. In addition, the lab is open to undergraduate students to create and operate an engineering house, a space where professors, graduate students, corporate researchers, and undergraduate students can study together. In early 2007, the Techno Innovation Park was opened to accommodate approximately 1,400 residents and more than 40 engineering houses, ranging from 17 floors above ground to 1 underground. Organization. All departments, except the Department of Design and Business Administration, are engineering colleges, and there are no separate colleges, and 3 graduate schools are established: General Graduate School of Knowledge-Based Technology and Energy, and Graduate School of Industrial Technology. Korea's first game engineering department, which specializes in game development, was established in 2002. In addition, the Faculty of Industry Academy Cooperation has been established for customized re-education required by industry. An 8-week, 4-semester system was implemented from the beginning of the school's 1998 to 2000. As of 2019, there are 6,879 undergraduate students, 351 master's students, and 58 doctoral students. Maui Island measures 5.2 kilometers long and 4.5 kilometers wide. The island is visible from the airport. Maui Island is served by a daily ferry from Incheon Ferry Terminal on the mainland, as well as by a frequent car ferry which crosses the narrow channel separating the island from Yeongju Island. Buses run from the airport, and the Incheon Airport Maglev will also provide service to nearby Yeongju Station. With the opening of Maui Bridge between Maui and Yeonjong, ferry service to the island has been reduced. The island's name, Maui, means dancer's dress in Korean. It is a beautiful spot popular with locals and expat tourists, who like to visit the 2 main beaches of the island, Silmi Beach and Hanagi Beach. Mauido is mentioned in Eugene Clarke's Korean War narrative The Secrets of Incheon. Graham of Wales is king of Mauido. The Great Dharani Sutra of Immaculate and Pure Light, the oldest known wooden slab print in the world dating back to the 8th century, discovered in 1966. A replica of JEJU, the world's oldest existing book published by movable metal type, created during the Goryeo dynasty in 1377. Yongbyeonga and Warrencheon Gangjagok, two of the earliest works printed in Hangul. Jangu, Dejium, and book, via a media art system. For football matches and is the home ground of Incheon United of the K-League. The stadium was designed with a capacity of 20,891 spectators. It replaced the much larger Incheon Munhak Stadium. On the 11th of March 2012, Incheon United officially had its first game since the opening of the stadium on the same day, when they played against Suwon Samsung Blue Ewings. It was chosen to host matches at the group and round of 16 stages of the 2017 FIFA U20 World Cup.
That's pretty much the closest ones. We're out here over the ocean. And that was that group right over here. So directly north, up in here.
River on the Korean peninsula after the Amnok, Chuman, and Nakdong rivers. The river begins as two smaller rivers in the eastern mountains of the Korean peninsula, which then converge near Seoul, the capital of the country. The Han River and its surrounding area have played an important role in Korean history. The three kingdoms of Korea strove to take control of this land, where the river was used as a trade route to China. However, the river is no longer actively used for navigation, because its estuary is located at the borders of the two Koreas, barred for entrance by any civilian. The river serves as a water source for over 12 million Koreans. In July 2000, the United States military admitted to having dumped toxic chemicals in the river.
Oh my gosh.
Currently, the lower stretches of the Han River are lined with pedestrian walkways, bicycle paths, public parks and restaurants, particularly in Seoul. In a 2011 survey conducted by Seoul Development Institute of 800 residents and 103 urban planning and architectural experts, 51.3% of residents and 68.9% of experts voted the river the second most scenic location in the city, following Mount Namsan in the top spot.
So if we don't make any changes and start heading north, we're going to be crossing this, crossing into China. So I see 2 up ahead, 1 down here on the coast, and there's 1 kind of here.
Began on June 22nd, 2018.
I'm going to test for listen for any radio stations that are in the area, but I can only listen to like 10 seconds of each one and sample. After that, YouTube gets mad and I'll have to go in and edit out any music or radio stations that we pick up. So let me just keep it to like 10 seconds of editing, but let me do a scan through the stations. What happened to our image? Son of a gun. On these screens that you're looking at, when I switch over, okay, in OBS, when I switch scenes, so I've got, this is the main Microsoft Flight Simulator game capture scene in OBS. And it's easier to keep these other things like Bushtalk in a separate scene. But then it doesn't pick up the audio capture. And so I don't know if that I'll have to go back and watch the live stream again. But now I'm questioning whether or not you're hearing it. Forgive me, I haven't been reviewing my live streams lately. And I have been messing around learning how to split audio channels and creating new scenes, and this is where I'm getting myself into trouble. So go right ahead. So what I'm doing is now I'm pasting the audio browser, which picks up all the Bushtalk Radio stuff. And I'm copying that down into the second scene. And the desktop audio is split off into its own, which I try to keep off. Okay, now let me go ahead and play it and see if we pick it up. Okay.
China, between the Bohai Sea to the north and the Yellow Sea to the south. The name refers to the east and JEJU.
Sometimes once it tries to grab a frequency, it'll take a moment for it to fully acquire, so let me hang here for a minute. If after about 20 seconds nothing comes up, it's not going to get it. That's too bad. We listened to some good stuff on JEJU Island yesterday. JEJU. Some good jazz and some really old, like 1930s, 1940s radio. Pro army stuff. Pro military stuff.
With the American Express Gold Card, I can earn 4 times membership rewards points.
Of course, we get the ads.
So with all these groceries,
I think this is the one from yesterday. DZTP Radio Triad Pass.
Terms and points.
And then it's usually just this gentleman that comes on and talks.
This sound is the sound of exploring new trails.
And we'll see if this guy that comes on does like talk radio, and he's got just music playing in the background.
Sounds like a great weekend. Where will you go in the V6 powered Nissan Frontier? Up to 7,150 pounds towing for the 2025 Frontier S 4x2. Towing capacity varies by configuration. See Nissan Towing Guide and Owner's Manual for additional information. Cargo and load capacity limited by weight and distribution. Always secure cargo.
Again, I can't listen to much. SDBA Classics 94.7. I wish they had more like a radio, more Well, a different sound. Pyongyang Radio FM. I can't identify the station based on the text, the Korean text. I want to listen more.
Боль, которая меня преследует всю жизнь, потому что это
Radio Rossi Irkutsk in Russia.
Да, он шел очень похожим путем, и отец 3 раза был в браке, и 3-й раз этот брак оказался счастливым, таким долгим, а первые 2 распадались моментально, и он бросал детей, фактически младенцев, и меня, и моего брата. И таким образом брат нашел его, когда ему уже было 30 с лишним лет, и найдя его, он был убит просто вот.
I have no idea what they're saying. I wish I did.
Еще скажите мне секрет семейного счастья. Вот ваша супруга Людмила, она волевая женщина, хотя...
I almost feel like I'm a spy at the moment. Over here listening to Russian radio. They're probably talking about cooking.
Возможность жить в любви дана нам Богом, просто априори. Любовь — это главный завет Христа. Любовь — это главная ценность.
Baking techniques.
Вера, надежда, но любовь выше.
Yeah. Keep that oven. Don't put the oven higher than 375. Yeah.
Я думаю, что это возможность почувствовать Бога. Не только в храме, не только оказавшись при смерти, не только в
You'd be talking about baking soda and leaveners.
Открытие, откровение. Действительно, что-то случается, там стоишь на какой-нибудь вершине.
FM 92.4. Their audio is not clear at all. Oh, it's so... It's not clean. Because that's going back to Radio Rossi.
Чувствовать ежедневно. Вот глаза любимой женщины, прикосновение.
Okay. So yeah, the Bushtalk Radio app. Pretty easy to install, pretty painless. And you get all those all the audio tours you've been listening to. And you get the radio. Again, I wish I could play more, but it's a YouTube copyright music thing. But if you're just using it on your own and you're not live streaming, it is a fantastic app to have, to be able to learn about all these places, and you can add your own. So like flying around your area, if there aren't a lot of audio tours and you're like, hey, well, why don't they have this or why don't they have that? It's very easy to create your own and submit them. It takes about 24 hours for your submission to appear, but you can create as many audio tour points of interest that you would like, and the AI just does the voices. I've done a few for Colorado and Colorado Springs. And when I'm flying by myself, at least you spend more time. I used to spend a lot more time flying by myself and not live streaming. And being able to listen to music and radio from all around the world, it's fantastic. Find out where we're at. We did these two audio points of interest. Here's one way down here. This little gulf.
JEJU Bay Bridge is a 26.7 kilometer long roadway bridge in eastern China's Shandong province, which is part of the 41.58 kilometers JEJU Bay Connection project. The longest continuous segment of the bridge is 25.9 kilometers, making it one of the longest bridges in the world. The JEJU Bay Bridge transects JEJU Bay, which reduces the road distance between Qingdao and Guangdao by 30 kilometers, compared with the expressway along the coast of the bay, reducing travel time by 20 to 30 minutes. The design of the bridge is T-shaped with the main entry and exit points in Guangdao and the Lekang district of Qingdao. A branch to Hongdao Island is connected by a semi-directional T interchange to the main span. The construction used 450,000 tons of steel and 2.3 million cubic meters of concrete. The bridge is designed to be able to withstand severe earthquakes, typhoons, and collisions from ships. It is supported by 5,238 concrete piles. The cross-section consists of two beams in total 35 meters wide carrying 6 lanes with 2 shoulders. The JEJU Bay Bridge has 3 navigable sections, the Kangku Channel Bridge to the west, the Dug Channel Bridge to the east, and the Hongdao Channel Bridge to the north. The 600 meters long Kangku Channel Bridge has the largest span of the entire JEJU Bay Bridge, 260 meters. The Hongdao Channel Bridge has a span of 120 meters. The non-navigable sections of the bridge have a span of 60 meters.
Музыка большой страны. Группа JEJU. Московский фокстрот. Юрий Давыдов.
Once I've turned the radio on, once you pause it, it'll unpause itself. Just kick in every now and then. So just scanning some headlines while we're getting there. And I have very, very strong opinions about what's going on in the world right now. I'm sure you do too. In previous live streams, when we're in these positions where we're doing these long stretches, and I'm just talking about whatever I have in the past, really went full blown on getting into all these political topics. Even more beyond that, political, philosophical, religious. And we know that no matter what you say at this point in time, somebody's going to be offended. So yeah, I've got really strong opinions about what's going on, but I got to keep it to myself and not put it on, not let it all come out in the Skydude live streams. If I want to go blow up on social media, I should be able to say this without causing too much stir. It's funny how little things can cause big shifts, or things that cause shifts. For example, let's say I'm following somebody in the media who's, they're all over the place, social media, news, and their opinion, it matters. Check all that stuff out under the water down there. One moment, please. Okay. Call from headquarters. Oh yeah, so following somebody that you have been following for a long time and your views are pretty much aligned, and then something changes right? So a situation on the other side of the world opens up and everybody's talking about it, and they're trying to tell everybody, hey, and I find myself now at odds with them. And that's got me going, hey. And then another somebody, you know, for years and years following, they say, hey. And I'm saying, hey, really? And this week alone, it's been a lot of that. Hey, what? So looking at people awful differently in the last 48 to 72 hours. And just taking a break from them all at the moment. Just really? Okay. A big K. Okay. I'm glad I'm not the only one that it's been acknowledging that. Everybody's been looking at each other, and the ones now that are kind of saying the same things, and now we're all looking at each other going, okay. As always, I'm just hoping for a happy ending, I guess. Not the kind you get at a massage parlor, but if that's your thing. The happy ending for all of us. Boy, do we need it. So, when everybody's being groovy, look at all the cool things that we make and do. Like this simulator, for instance. I mean, I feel like I'm playing on a world wonder. And I was talking about this program I watched on Netflix made by the South Koreans. It's just kick ass. And their television programming in general. Chef in my fridge. I want to do chef in my plane. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'd like to do it. At least I'd like to say I'd like to do it. And that is, yeah, chefs on my plane. So somehow or another tie into one of these reality cooking programs that they do, like Chef and a Fridge in South Korea. I'm really starting to like that one a lot. And it's only 15-minute cooking rounds, so this ain't no party, this ain't no disco, this ain't no fooling around. You've got to get it done. They've inspired me to hurry up in the kitchen. But yeah, I'd like to bring that idea into a plane. Eventually, we're going to be able to have avatars inside of planes, and we're going to be able to do much more interesting things, I think, coming up. I should be able to see you as a passenger. That's been my thread of choice in the forums. I've been suggesting passengers from day one. Passengers. A passengers app. I know it sounds stupid now, but, you know, what are the cool new features they're going to add on in the future, right? It may sound dumb right now, But when they worked out all the bugs and they worked out all the this and they worked out all the that, and, you know, what cool new features can you add? There's a lot of in aviation that I think would be badass to have. I would love to have way more overlays. So even like right now, like a reshade, NVIDIA reshade, but overlays. For example, a concept that we don't learn in the simulator in a training mission is airspaces. Airspace. And different categories of airspace. All right. Visualizing and being able visualizing these airspace areas in 3 dimensions can be difficult without graphical aid. You know, this being what it is, I would love to be able to, I would have loved to early on as somebody learning in a simulator. I would have loved to have had an option in options to turn on an overlay for airspaces. And now in 3 dimensions, I can see the inverted cones, and I can see all the military areas, and I can see all the areas that are currently under, you know, NOTAM. And all the real-time stuff, like in SkyVector. It's a really good app for maps in North America that give you real-time updates to areas that are currently no-fly zones. It's constantly updating in real time events that are happening, like whatever, firework displays, or on Sundays you get sporting matches displayed, but constantly displaying areas where bad weather, don't fly here, they're doing rocket testing over here, this is a no-fly zone. So it would be interesting to have that kind of thing as an overlay. More overlays in general. I like how it's doing now. We get cities and points of interest in cities. And, but like a Bing Maps overlay. Right? I can look down there. Right now, I can look down there, but if I turn on my Bing Maps, maybe I can find Walmart. And if I do a search, a Bing Map search right then and there, I can pull up things. I can find things in the world below me using Microsoft Bing. I would love to see a lot more integration that way. I also think we need, this is a kind of a different topic, but I believe that we are going to need something more like Bing Maps, Google Maps avionics. It's too macro. Everything currently is too macro. So when you're flying around something like the Joby or the Archer or the Volocopter, and you're dreaming about starting an air taxi in city, interstate, on the way, intercity, taxi service, air taxi service using the new eVTOLs. Right? We don't have fine fidelity in avionics. How do I submit a flight plan to go from wherever you're at to go pick up a person in town somewhere and take them across town to a stadium? Go pick up a grandma and take grandma to Walmart. How do I go pick up Bob and take him to the Home Depot and pick up a load of material, shuttle Bob back to his place so he can continue construction. Right? I think you know what I'm talking about. There's no way for me to submit a flight plan from Bob's to Home Depot back to Bob's. How do I submit a flight plan to go from where I'm at to Grandma's house to Walmart back to Grandma's house? So I would like to see it happen here, actually, in the simulator first then. Because we can immediately do it. And that is having, since it's Microsoft, you being able to use your Bing technology for Bing map overlays and flight planning in a Microsoft flight simulator, in the flight simulator. I would love to see you do it. Somebody. So if I want to simulate an air taxi career in Flight Simulator, how do I do it? And I want to do it. Do it. Do it. I want to do it. I'm in love with the Archer. And I love the idea of starting an air taxi with an Archer. I might be too old now. I don't know if they'll let me go. Starting to get up there. I think I got some years left in me, though. And it's so darn simple that even for somebody who is older and maybe even retired and they don't want you flying so much because, you know, now these people that can just keep flying because it's so simple. If you haven't tried the eVTOL aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator, folks, you have to. It's worth the purchase just for that. You're like thinking, I can't fly. My gosh, I listen to these people who are trying to actually do it, and I'm trying to learn how to do it with the training and YouTube videos, and it's so hard, man. I feel your pain. But the new eVTOL technology allows you to take a lot of the stress off. There's still a lot you're going to have to learn. But, you know, just learning to take off and land without dying, that's a pretty big deal. Learning how to land, just learning the flying part, just spend a lot more time in the simulator. You'll get it. But the takeoff and the landings are where most simulator death is occurring. And so the eVTOL takes all that, just takes it out of the equation. And they're so precise, and you don't have to fight them like helicopters. My God. I was watching helicopter training. A guy go through the first time in the cockpit in the helicopter training up to like his first couple of weeks. And I thought for sure that man was going to kill himself. Learning what is required to build up the muscle memory to just control a helicopter without computer-aided assistances like we have. Oh my God. That's so dangerous. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you are on YouTube. And it blows my mind how hard it is and what you've got to overcome to learn how to just fly the thing. And here comes the Archer and the Joby and other technologies like it, these eVTOLs. So you want to go up? Go up. You want to let go of the joystick? Let go of the joystick. It ain't going anywhere. It does what you want. You want to go up 1 foot, 5 feet, 10 feet, and just hover? Perfect. Okay, fine. You want to go 1 knot, 2 knots, 3 knots? Dial it up. What other aircraft up to this? What aircraft ever has let you just dial in your speed? If you have to do a normal taxi in one of these things out to runway helicopter area when you're at airport, think about just the pain in the ass it's been all these years just to do a taxi and keep toggling your speed right so that you're constantly moving and you're not overspeeding, getting a ticket for going too fast. Haven't you dreamed all these years of having a quick button that you push that's like taxi speed, and then it just monitors the engine to make sure that the wheels are rolling, or electronic wheels, just so your taxi is always constant? Anyway, you can dial in your speed. The transition from hover to forward flight is painless. You can go from, with the flick of a switch, a button on your joystick, a toggle back and forth, you can easily, with one button push, transition from hover to forward flight. And back. Forward flight, click. It slowly descends and it comes to a hover. The technology is amazing, my friends. And so yes, if you're young and you're new, or it doesn't matter what age you are really, if you think, man, I can't fly, it's too hard, that's over and done with. Welcome to the future. Welcome to yourself flying. Stuck at home, never think you can fly around and see the world? Well, no, you can't. Oh yeah, so back to the point I was making, the long way around, and that is, when we're happy people, we make fun, interesting things. Video games and movies and music and fun game shows about chefs looking into your refrigerator, and it's a joy. And with regards to the world, I would like to see a happy ending where everybody has the opportunity to enjoy these things. Crazy world.
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 421 for contact Beijing Center on 120.35. Good day.
Going to 120.35.
120.5 for Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Beijing Center, Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214, flight level tree 60. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214, Beijing Center, radar contact, continue to lofty.
Oh, I have us going a little fast, don't I? Whoops. Well, I wanted to get there. Looks like an NDB. There's DS502. Oh, we passed a couple audio points. Let's see. Yeah, we did.
The North China Plain is a large-scale down-faulted rift basin formed in the late Paleogene and Neogene and then modified by the deposits of the Yellow River. It is the largest alluvial plain of China. The plain is bordered to the north by the Yanshan Mountains, to the west by the Taihang Mountains, to the south by the Dabi and Qinmu Mountains, and to the east by the Yellow Sea. The Yellow River flows through the middle of the plain into the Bohai Sea. Below the Sanmenxia Dam is the multipurpose Zhaolangdi Dam, located in the river's last valley before the North China Plain, a great delta created from silt dropped at the Yellow River's mouth over the millennia. The North China Plain extends over much of Henan, Hebei, and Shandong provinces, and merges with the Yangtze Delta in northern Jiangsu and Anhui provinces. The Yellow River meanders over the fertile, densely populated plain emptying into the Bohai Sea. The plain is one of China's most important agricultural regions, producing corn, sorghum, winter wheat, vegetables, and cotton. Its nickname is Land of the Yellow Earth. The southern part of the plain is traditionally referred to as the Central Plain, which formed the cradle of Chinese civilization. The plain covers an area of about 409,500 square kilometers, most of which is less than 50 meters above sea level. This flat yellow soil plain is the main area of sorghum, millet, maize, and cotton production in China. Wheat, sesame seed, and peanuts are also grown here. The plain is one of the most densely populated regions in the world. Beijing, the national capital, is located on the northeast edge of the plain, with Tianjin, an important industrial city and commercial port, near its northeast coast. Shengli oil field in Shandong is an important petroleum base.
Синецкий не справится. Его надо было переводить в школу номер 10. Куда? В госпиталь номер 1515. К кому? Профессору.
Mount Tai is a mountain of historical and cultural significance located north of the city of Tai'an, in Shandong Province, China. The tallest peak is the Jade Emperor Peak, which is commonly reported as being 1,545 meters tall, but is officially described by the PRC government as 1,532.7 meters tall. Mount Tai is known as the eastern mountain of the five great mountains of China. It is associated with sunrise, birth, and renewal, and is often regarded the foremost of the five. Mount Tai has been a place of worship for at least 3,000 years and served as one of the most important ceremonial centers of China during large portions of this period.
That's pretty far out. Okay. Oh, those Russians want to be heard today.
Видели, как он делает, у него учились, рядом с ним учились. Ведь это же оказало колоссальное значение на общий подъем качества работы в госпиталях.
Вы совершенно правы, Дмитрий. Значит, я специально, предвидя ваш вопрос, потому что это логично, что вы об этом спросите, не сказал еще одну составляющую его.
The Red Flag Canal is an irrigation canal located 80 kilometers northwest of Anyang in the northern extremity of Henan, China.
Did, huh? Short and sweet. Boy! Usually the radio won't toggle on that insistently. I'm not doing it, it's doing it by itself.
Baiyang Lake, also known as Lake Baiyangdian, is located in the Xianganu area of Baoding, a prefecture-level city in Hebei Province, China. It is the largest freshwater lake in northern China. It is referred to as the kidney of North China. Baiyang Lake brings together 9 of the upper reaches of the river water. The lake is home to about 50 varieties of fish and multiple varieties of wild geese, duck, and birds. The lake and side parks also are home to a vast number of lotus, reed and other plants. From harvesting the fauna and flora of the lake, the locals make a living. Due to drought and over-exploitation of groundwater, as well as problems of industrial wastewater since the 1980s, faced with the test of water shortages and pollution of ecological problems to Baiyang Lake, the city government of Baoding plans to solve this problem in 10 years at a cost of 8 billion yuan.
All right, so up ahead, some mountains. Up ahead.
Я посчитал, пока вы это рассказывали, вот даже в самом сложном.
Mount Wutai, also known by its Chinese name Wutaishan and as Mount Qinglang, is a sacred Buddhist site at the headwaters of the Qingshui in Shanxi Province, China. Its central area is surrounded by a cluster of flat-topped peaks roughly corresponding to the cardinal directions. The North Peak is the highest and is also the highest point in northern China. As host to over 53 sacred monasteries, Mount Wutai is home to many of China's most important monasteries and temples. It was inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2009 and named a tourist attraction by China's National Tourism Administration in 2007.
So it looks like we're turning, so that mountain we were just hearing about, out that way. Wow.
С точки зрения ученого, каждое выступление – это новое исследование, которое проверяется на качество, достоверность, прочность.
I'm trying to refresh the Bushtalk Radio app so it toggles the radio off. Yeah, we're turning and heading north now towards that lake we were just listening, we were just finding out about. We're moving. There's a lot up here.
The Temple of Heaven is an imperial complex of religious buildings situated in the southeastern part of central Beijing. The complex was visited by the emperors of the Ming and Qing dynasties for annual ceremonies of prayer to heaven for a good harvest. Beijing Railway Station, or simply Beijing Station, is a passenger railway station in Dongcheng District, Beijing. The station is located just southeast of the city center inside the second ring road with Beijing Station Street to the north and the remnants of the city wall between Chongwenmen and Dongbianmen to the south. The Beijing Railway Station opened in 1959 and was the largest train station in China at the time. Though superseded by the larger Beijing West and Beijing South stations, this station remains the only one located inside the old walled city. Trains entering and leaving the station pass by the Dongbianmen Corner Tower. With gilded eaves and soaring clock towers, the architecture of the railway blends traditional Chinese and socialist realist influence. Generally, trains for northeast China on the Beijing-Harbin Railway, for Shandong and the Yangtze River Delta on the Beijing-Shanghai Railway, and some for Inner and the Republic of Mongolia depart from this station. Some international lines, amongst others, also depart from this station. The Beijing subway's first line used to terminate at Beijing Railway Station from 19...
People that love trains, man.
The subway station is now a stop on Line 2. More than 30 Beijing bus and Beijing trolleybus routes stop at or near the railway station.
I guess that's our job, though. Part of it. Transportation.
The National Center for the Performing Arts, and colloquially described as the Giant Egg, is an art center containing an opera house in Beijing, People's Republic of China. Designed by French architect Paul Andréau, the NCPA is the largest theater complex in Asia. The NCPA is semi-spherical in appearance, with a long axis length of 212.20 meters in the east-west direction, a short axis length of 143.64 meters in the north-south direction, a height of 46.285 meters, an area of 119,900 square meters, and a total construction area of approximately 165,000 square meters, including 105,000 square meters of main buildings and 60,000 square meters of underground, auxiliary facilities, with a total cost of 3.067 billion yuan. There are opera hall, music hall, theater and art exhibition halls, restaurants, audio shops, and other supporting facilities. The Wanggongkang explosion was an unexplained catastrophic explosion that occurred on May 30th of the Chinese calendar in 1626 AD during the late reign of Tianqi Emperor, at the heavily populated Ming China capital Beijing, and had reportedly killed around 20,000 people. The nature of the explosion is still unclear to this day, as it is estimated to have released energy equivalent to about 10 to 20 kiloton of TNT, similar to that of the Hiroshima bombing. The most detailed account of the explosion was from a contemporary official gazette named Official Notice of Heavenly Calamity. The explosion reportedly took place at Xixi on the late morning of May 30, 1626. The sky was clear, but suddenly a loud roaring rumble was heard coming from northeast, gradually reaching southwest of the city, followed by dust clouds and shaking of houses. Then a bright streak of flash containing a great light followed, and a huge bang that shattered the sky and crumbled the earth occurred. The sky turned dark, and everything within the 2 kilometers vicinity and a 4 square kilometers area was utterly obliterated. The streets were unrecognizable, littered with fragmented bodies and showered with falling roof tiles. The force of the explosion was so great that large trees were uprooted and found to be thrown as far as the rural Miyun on the opposite side of the city, and a 3 metric ton stone lion was thrown over the city wall. The noise of the blast was heard as far as Tongzhou to the east, Hexiwu to the south, and Miyun and Chongqing to the north, and tremblings were felt over 150 kilometers away in Zunhua, Xunhua, Tianjin, Datong, and Gawangling. The ground around the immediate vicinity of Wangongkang Armory, the epicenter of the explosion, had sunken for over 6.5 meters, but there was a notable lack of fire damage. The clouds over the epicenter were also reported to be strange. Some looked like messy strands of silk, some were multicolored, while some looked like a black lingsha, rising into the sky and did not disperse until hours later. The late Ming dynasty was already suffering domestic crises from political corruption, factional conflicts, and repeated natural disasters leading to peasant riots and rebellions. However, the horror of the Wangongkang explosion dwarfed all of those, and the imperial courts criticized the Tianqi emperor and believed that the incident was a punishment from heaven as a warning to correct the sins of the emperor's personal incompetence. Tianqi emperor was forced to publicly announce a repenting edict, and issued 20,000 taels of gold for the rescue and relief effort.
Holy be Jesus. Holy moly. I can't believe what we just heard. And it does sound like an electric event. The lack of burning, it wasn't an explosion like TNT, like a fiery explosion. More like, again, the weird cloud formations and things going on in the sky. The release of energy in general, but a bright flash. And they described it as white light. Like a lightning bolt, a giant plasma event, a discharge. And everything got de-resed and just whacked. That's crazy.
Beihai Park, also known as the Winter Palace, is a public park and former imperial garden located in the northwestern part of the imperial city, Beijing. First built in the 11th century, it is among the largest of all Chinese gardens and contains numerous historically important structures, palaces, and temples. Since 1925, the place has been open to the public as a park. It is also connected at its northern end to the Shichahai. The park has an area of more than 69 hectares, with a lake that covers more than half of the entire park. At the center of the park is an island called Jade Flower Island, whose highest point is 32 meters. Beihai literally means northern sea. There are also corresponding central and southern seas. These latter two joined inside a complex of buildings known after them as Zhongnanhai. It is the home of China's paramount leaders. The Beihai Park, as with many of Chinese imperial gardens, was built to imitate renowned scenic spots and architecture from various regions of China, the Taihu Lake, the elaborate pavilions and canals in Hangzhou and Yangzhou, the delicate garden structures in Suzhou, and others all served as inspirations for the design of the numerous sites in this imperial garden. The structures and scenes in the Beihai Park are described as masterpieces of gardening technique that reflects the style and the superb architectural skill and richness of traditional Chinese garden art.
Beautiful.
The Drum Tower of Beijing, or Gulu, is situated at the northern end of the central axis of the inner city to the north of Dianmen Street. Originally built for musical reasons, it was later used to announce the time and is now a tourist attraction. The Bell Tower of Beijing, or Songlü, stands closely behind the Drum Tower. Together, the Bell Tower and Drum Tower have panoramic views over central Beijing, and before the modern era, they both dominated Beijing's ancient skyline. Bells and drums were musical instruments in ancient China. Later they were used by government and communities to announce the time. The bell and drum towers were central to official timekeeping in China in the Yuan, Ming and Qing dynasties. The bell and drum towers continued to function as the official timepiece of Beijing until 1924, when the Beijing coup led to the expulsion of Puyi, the last emperor of the Qing dynasty, from the Forbidden City, and the adoption of Western-styled clockwork for official timekeeping. The Yong Temple, also known as the Yong Lamasery, or popularly as the Lama Temple, is a temple and monastery of the Gelug school of Tibetan Buddhism located in Dongcheng District, Beijing, China. The building and artwork of the temple is a combination of Han Chinese and Tibetan styles. Building work on the Yong Temple started in 1694 during the Qing dynasty on the site where originally stood an official residence for court eunuchs of the Ming dynasty. It was then converted into the residence of Yinzhen, the fourth son of the Kangxi Emperor. The Kangxi Emperor awarded this building to Yinzhen in 1702, who was at the time a Junvang. Yinzhen moved into this building in May 1703. The Kangxi Emperor promoted Yinzhen from Junvang to Kainvang under the title Prince Yong of the first rank in 1709. The name of this building was thus changed into the residence of Prince Yong of the first rank in the same year. In 1711, the fourth son of Yongzheng, or the Qianlong Emperor, was born in the East Academy in this building. Prince Yong ascended the throne as the Yongzheng Emperor in 1722, and the residence of Prince Yong of the first rank was later promoted into the Palace of Peace and Harmony. After the Yongzheng Emperor's death in 1735, his coffin was placed in the temple from 1735 to 1737. Before the Yong Temple was converted into a monastery, the Grand Secretariat Ortai had once proposed that Hongshu should take the Yong Palace as his private residence, but this suggestion was denied by the Qianlong Emperor. The Qianlong Emperor, who succeeded the Yongzheng Emperor, gave the temple imperial status signified by having its turquoise tiles replaced with yellow tiles which were reserved for the emperor. In 1744, the Qianlong Emperor issued an edict of converting the Palace of Peace and Harmony into a lamasery, and the following Buddha Basika of the Buddhist figure was executed in 1745. Subsequently, the monastery became a residence for large numbers of Tibetan Buddhist monks from Mongolia and Tibet, and so the Yong Lamasery became the national center of Lama administration. Since 1792, with the foundation of the Golden Urn, the Yong Temple also became a place for the Manchu government to exert control over the Tibetan and Mongolian Lama reincarnations. The temple was the site of an armed revolt against the Chinese nationalist government in 1929. After the Chinese Civil War ended in 1949, the temple was declared a national monument and closed for the following 32 years. It is said to have survived the Cultural Revolution due to the intervention of Premier Zhou Enlai. Reopened to the public in 1981, it is today both a functioning temple and highly popular tourist attraction in the city.
Good afternoon to Farmer out there. Good afternoon. Yes, sir. Doing good.
Beijing National Stadium, officially the National Stadium, also known as the Bird's Nest, is a 91,000 capacity stadium in Beijing. The stadium was jointly designed by architects Jacques Herzog and Pierre de Meuron from Basel-based architecture team Herzog and de Meuron, project architect Stefan Marbach, artist Ai Weiwei, and Kaj.
Keeps going away.
By chief architect Li Xingang.
Trying to look at the picture.
The stadium was designed for use throughout the 2008 Summer Olympics and Paralympics and will be used again in the 2022 Winter Olympics and Paralympics. The Bird's Nest sometimes has temporary large screens installed at the stands.
Pretty neat.
The Olympic Forest Park is a large, man-made nature park situated at the north end of the Olympic Green in Beijing. Built for the 2008 Beijing Olympics, the park has two parts. The southern part is oval in shape and features Oi Lake in the center, and the northern side has a mountain that gives an excellent view of this part of the city. The northern part is outside of the Fifth Ring Road. The park was designed by Sasaki and implemented by the Tsinghua Landscape Design Institute. The park features many walking paths and a jogging path. Several small islands in the lake are linked by bridges. The southeast end of the lake has a handful of carnival rides for children. The south gate of Forest Park Station of the Beijing subway is located at the south entrance to the park. The Summer Palace is a vast ensemble of lakes, gardens and palaces in Beijing. It was an imperial garden in the Qing dynasty. Mainly dominated by Longevity Hill and Kunming Lake, it covers an expanse of 2.9 square kilometers, 3/4 of which is water. Longevity Hill is about, convert vertical bar 60 meters high and has many buildings positioned in sequence. The front hill is rich with splendid halls and pavilions, while the back hill, in sharp contrast, is quiet with natural beauty. The central Kunming Lake, covering 2.2 square kilometers, was entirely man-made and the excavated soil was used to build Longevity Hill. In December 1998, UNESCO included the Summer Palace on its World Heritage List. It declared the Summer Palace a masterpiece of Chinese landscape garden design. The natural landscape of hills and open water is combined with artificial features such as pavilions, halls, palaces, temples and bridges to form a harmonious ensemble of outstanding aesthetic value. Notably in recent history, it is also the central route terminus of the South-North Water Transfer Project, having traversed 1,267 kilometers from Donjiangkou Reservoir, Hubei, making it Beijing's main water supply.
So we're passing over some really interesting looking mountains right here, and there's something right back that way.
The Taihang Mountains are a Chinese mountain range running down the eastern edge of the lowest plateau in Shanxi, Henan, and Hebei provinces. The range extends over 400 kilometers from north to south and has an average elevation of 1,500 to 2,000 meters. The principal peak is Xiaowu Taishan. The Taihang's eastern peak is Kangyan Shan in Hebei. Beishi Mountain forms its northern tip. The name of Shanxi Province, meaning west of the mountains, derives from its location west of the Taihang Mountains, as does the name of Shandong Province. The Red Flag Canal is located on the south edge of the Taihang Mountains. The Shitai passenger railway crosses under the Taihang Mountains via the Taihang Tunnel, which, at almost 28 kilometers, is the third longest railway tunnel in China.
And I think there's something to the north of us.
Mount Wutai, also known by its Chinese name Wutaishan and as Mount Qinglang, is a sacred Buddhist site at the headwaters of the Qingshui in Shanxi Province, China. Its central area is surrounded by a cluster of flat-topped peaks roughly corresponding to the cardinal directions. The North Peak is the highest and is also the highest point in northern China. As host to over 53 sacred monasteries, Mount Wutai is home to many of China's most important monasteries and temples. It was inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2009 and named a tourist attraction by China's National Tourism Administration in 2007.
All right. Up here at 1 o'clock.
Yanmen Pass, also known by its Chinese name Yanmenguan and as Zixingyuan, is a mountain pass which includes 3 fortified gatehouses along the Great Wall of China. The area was a strategic choke point in ancient and medieval China, controlling access between the valleys of central Shanxi and the Eurasian steppe. This made it the scene of various important battles, extending into World War II, and the area around the gatehouses and this stretch of the Great Wall is now a pentuple A-rated tourist attraction. The scenic area is located just outside Yanmenguan village in Yanmenguan Township in Dai County, Xingzhou City, Shanxi Province, China.
And straight ahead,
the mausoleum of Genghis Khan is a temple dedicated to Genghis Khan, where he is worshipped as ancestor, dynastic founder, and deity. The temple is better called the Lord's Enclosure, the traditional name among the Mongols, as it has never truly contained the Khan's body. It is the main center of the worship of Genghis Khan, a growing practice in the Mongolian shamanism of both Inner Mongolia, where the temple is located, and Mongolia. The temple is located in the Kanjuo enclosure in the town of Xinji, in the Ijinhoro Banner in the Ordos prefecture of Inner Mongolia, in China. The main hall is actually a cenotaph where the coffin contains no body, only headdresses and accessories, because the actual tomb of Genghis Khan has never been discovered.
Wow. What I take away and what I remember from a history class about the Mongols is just at every point in time, there's every different culture seems to think that they're the master race. And it was the same with the Mongols. Like today, when somebody calls somebody a Mongol, you know, the Western mind doesn't immediately think, oh, that's the master race. It's, you know, somebody with a big forehead and whatever, the stereotypes. A Mongol. You're a Mongol. But yeah, that they believed themselves to be the master race at one time, and as well as everybody else does. And, you know, so they went crazy trying to take over everything, and then were defeated and realized, oh.
The Ordos Desert is a desert/steppe region in northwest China, administrated under the prefecture of Ordos City in the Inner Mongolian Autonomous Region. It extends over an area of approximately 90,650 square kilometers and comprises two sub-deserts, China's seventh largest desert, the Kuki Desert, in the north, and China's eighth largest desert, the Muas Desert, in the south. Wedged between the arable Hetao region to the north and the lowest plateau to the south, the soil of the Ordos Desert is mostly a mixture of dry clay and sand, and as a result is poorly suited for agriculture.
So we're entering into the heart of Genghis Khanville. You can understand why they had a good time riding horses out there, and everything gets real flat after these mountains. And then they got the desert. Yikes. So we'll be over that in a moment. I love learning about history when we're flying around, especially when we come up with tidbits like that. We're up a little high, so it's not giving us the best definition, even though I've got the textures turned up to 400. Doesn't look too bad zoomed out. Wild. This is called the Bushtalk Radio app. And it's pretty easy to install, just like anything else in Microsoft Flight Simulator. You're just going to end up dumping some folders into your community folder. Try to minimize it here a little bit more. And once it's set up, you'll, in free flight mode, you get an icon up here, which you can access on your toolbar. Or in your EFB, which you can't see at the moment. Let me Okay. Or you access it now in your EFB under Bushtalk client. And that'll talk about getting started, where you log in, stats. This is a neat one. Point of interest nearby when it works. So Yadmin Pass, Tai Hang Mountain, Mount Wutai we heard about. The Hanging Temple we haven't heard about yet. Mount Hang. And Pingyao. An ancient city. Unfortunately, it doesn't display the points of interest in the simulators. Sometimes I think it does, and then sometimes it doesn't seem to. Or it's not updated. I don't know. But yeah, it's called Bushtalk Radio because it has a radio feature at the bottom here in the main toolbar, which I can't figure out how to make go away or make smaller. I wish they would. I need to write them and ask them if they could toggle away somehow. But I'm not. I don't ever really use this control panel down here anyway. I would rather it go away. So it has the ability to allow you to tune into most radio stations if they're available, and that's why it's called Bushtalk Radio. But yeah, all of these points of interests they've created, or you can create your own by using this plus symbol down here and then clicking on point of interest. So let's say where you're at in Kentucky, if they don't have all the cool spots, audio tours for them, you just click add a point of interest, enter the name of the location. You can select this to import the Wikipedia page. So that'll auto-populate most things. Give it a title, and then you come down here, and here's where you edit the Wikipedia to take out all those, bracketed items, and to clean up the text so it will translate well through an AI, this AI lady. Shine it up a bit, take out commas here and there, makes it pause weird. And you'll get, and then save it and submit it. And it will update for everybody in the next update. You can also scan for new points of interest that have been added down here using the scan area. Just had a spider crawling on me. Dummy, don't get on me. But the radio part, and I can only play like 10 seconds if I acquire anything, because copyrights and all that. But when you're flying by yourself, it is such a hoot to listen to radio from all over. We're listening to a Russian talk radio station earlier that kept kicking on all by itself. So after you hit the radio button once, and it does the little squelch noise, give it like 10 seconds to see if it'll pick up anything. And then if not, have it scan again, move up the frequency or down the frequency. FM 891. That's nice. Nice and soothing.
Назвал Хамини следующим
So there's that Russian talk radio again.
уничтожения Израилем десятки.
Descend and maintain flight level 260. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214.
Cool. All right, Mongoliaville. In the desert. I think that since their release, there has been something that has gone on, because it used to almost play everything, and now it's kind of hit and miss. J-Pop Sakura. I think we picked them up yesterday when I was on JEJU Island. Floyd Server, rock. Oh, come on, Floyd Server. I've been looking for stations that just rock and haven't found any yet. Nothing heavy. Come on, we're over Mongolian territory. Somebody's got to rock out here.
Sierra transition. Clear to Hotel Delta Sierra.
What was the height? Not above like speed not above like 210. Speed not above 205 knots. Expect ILS Z runway 31.
Kilo Lima 4214. Acknowledge last transmission.
Aye, Captain.
Keep speed not above 205 knots. Expect ILS Zulu runway tree. 1 approach via Hotel Delta Sierra transition.
We need to start coming down to 7,874. What is it? 7,800. All right. Do we have to do any announcements?
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Please expedite your descent flight level 260.
To all passengers, we have begun our descent into Ho-Ho. Please turn off all electronic devices. In preparation for landing, make sure your seat back is straight up and your belt is fastened. Please secure your carry-on items, stow your tray table, and pass any remaining service items to the flight attendants. Thank you.
He asked that we expedite, so I did setting vertical speed on, and I'm changing it to negative 1,500 feet per minute. And we just did our strap in comment. Let's go to 2.5. Okay, 26,000. Oops. Now, hopefully they don't get mad at me. I'm going to start slowly coming down. They may not want me to descend at the moment, but I'm going to start a slow descent.
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. You are 400 feet below your side.
Oh, they're nailing me.
And maintain flight level
All right.
60. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Acknowledge last transmission.
Yeah, busted.
Climb and maintain flight level 260. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214.
And altitude hold. Yeah, it's a really great app. It's my VIP. You know, it keeps me entertained when I'm flying by myself, and I love hearing all the radio stations. And again, in Colorado, there's been points of interest that I put in. I think I did the Air Force Academy. I was using this pretty early on in 2020, and so got a little bit of a lead on people in Colorado. There's a lot more that I should put in. And when I travel around, and there's a lot of things that still need to be put in. A lot more. I wish they would do a deal with the Sobo. But again, everything's about memory and getting it to run right. And I'm sure having it populate all these points of interest. The first time I ever used it in 2020 and it started populating in points of interest, it brought my simulator to its knees. But in the future, when maybe things like that won't be a problem, it just makes finding things a little bit easier. Speaking of, let me get back over there and see if there's anything nearby now. We've missed a couple of those point of interests I pointed out. We did these two already. This is about Genghis Khan. Or, yeah. This is his temple, mausoleum. It's funny how the most important people in the world, sometimes we don't find their tombs. Like, where's Alexander the Great? People said we found Gilgamesh. I don't know. Maybe that'd be cool. That'd be way more than cool because we gotta see if we can do some DNA testing. If it's even possible, I would think. I don't know. There we are, 7,900 feet.
Descend and maintain 7,900 feet. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214.
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Descend and maintain 14,000 feet.
What? All right.
Descend and maintain 14,000 feet. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214.
I'll just do an alt hold when we get there, I guess.
Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Descend and maintain 13,000 feet.
Okay.
Descend and maintain 13,000 feet. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
What?
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
The runway's at 4,000 feet.
4214. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Descend and maintain 9,600 feet.
Wow. What's up with ATC?
Descend and maintain 9,600 feet. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214.
Need to hurry. Oh man. The speed brake. We're supposed to be under 205 and we're going 245. So we're going to get dinged on respecting the whatever flight conditions. Respecting the aircraft, we're going to get dinged for that. Well, I'm going to get dinged for that. You just get to sit back and laugh and laugh.
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Contact tower on 118.8 when inbound.
118.8.
Tower on 118.8. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be at 79 at the D502. $14,000. I think we might be able to make it. Still going awful fast. Okay, so you can do negative 2,500 And at the moment with the speed brake, keep it at 204. Let me take the speed brake out and see if it'll still do it. Nope, nope, nope. $10,000.
Passing 10,000 feet.
I got the ILS in. 1087, yes. Come on, baby. A little more, a little more. We did it. 7-9. $6,890. Going over to approach. I need to learn more about what time to engage the proper flaps. I'm gonna go to 5. We don't get an error. All right, putting it in the localizer. Got our diamond. Approach. All right, all right. This bird and I are finally starting to become friends. 160. Oops. Shooting the tower.
Tower, Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima, 4214, 6 miles southeast, inbound ILS Zulu runway tree 1 approach.
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214 Tower. QNH 9er, cleared ILS Zulu runway tree 1 approach.
Cleared ILS Zulu runway tree 1 approach. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214.
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Wind 222 at 8. Cleared to land runway tree 1.
All right, set to 9er, 9er, 9er.
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Acknowledge last transmit.
Clear to land runway tree 1. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214.
Uh-oh. Maybe the wind.
400. 300. 200. Too low, flaps. Too low, flaps. Too low, flaps. Too low, flaps. 100 minimums, flaps. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Sink rate.
Oh, bit bouncy. Oh, really? I armed it, but didn't engage. Or I disarmed it somehow.
Lima 4214. Turn next taxiway.
Really? I was only at flaps 5. I didn't increase the flaps. Speed brake, flaps, yada yada yada.
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Exit runway when able.
Yeah, pretty gusty. Pretty constant. That's keeping that sock up.
Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214.
Really?
118.15.
What did it do with all my textures?
Ground. Kin Foxtrot Kilo Lima 4214. Request taxi
to
departing.
via taxiway.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have not reached the gate yet. Please remain seated until the captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign. Thank you. To all passengers, welcome to Ajin Horo. Local time is 5:41 p.m. For your safety, please remain seated until our captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign. Check around your seat for any personal belongings and be careful when opening the overhead bins, as heavy articles may have shifted.
Yeah, the way
Entire company. We would like to thank you for choosing Fly Korea. We look forward to seeing you again. We wish you a pleasant stay in Ho Hot.
and the way I bounced you, you might want to check for loose change. I think I would have bounced the wallet right out of your pants. So you're gonna get me for speeding. quick update on my weather at home. Fantastic. We were told we're going into a heat spell 2 weeks ago. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be bad and it's going to be brutal. And when it did warm up, yeah, it gets hot here. I'm sure it gets really hot there too. But surprisingly, we've been overcast and have been getting unexpected rain almost every day so far. Today we got some hail too. But for the last 2 weeks, it may be warm, but it's been cooling off dramatically in the afternoons and getting overcast and raining, and it's been fantastic, and I love it. So yeah, hail earlier, some good heavy rain. When Colorado is green, it's a beautiful place. All right, so we're back in China. And we'll just have to see what tomorrow brings. See if it'll head us. Well, which direction it will head us. We'll I'll look at jobs when we get out of here. See if we're going to end up going more towards Russia, or if we can find something going south. Oh, the Bushtalk Radio app also, it's free. It just one of the popular flight sim downloading places, or you could actually just go to the webpage bushtalkradio.com, I believe, and there's links right there that'll take you over to one of the popular flight simming download websites, or to their own server to get it. And it's just typical. I think there's 2 files. One, you get all the point of interest markers, and then you get the client, and it'll work with 2020 and 2024. Whoops. Telling me to go that way too. Really? Is he even paying attention to me? He's paying attention to somebody else. There he goes. Now, if you're into the really fancy ways to shut down and you want to do it all by the book, don't forget in the FB, you can pull up your checklists, right? Aircraft checklists. You can come down here to post-flight, shutdown, parking shutdown, and you can go through all the stuff. You can get as in-depth as you would like to. Same with everything. The pre-flight, before taxi, in-flight. If you want to do everything by the book, it's all here for you. Go have at it. Me, I'm not so inclined when doing live streams. They're long enough. Didn't even look at our co-pilot today. Hello. She doesn't look scary like all the other ones. All right, let's see how bad they ding us for that crazy descent. Respect the condition of the aircraft, 71%. Landing smoothness. Well, always room for improvement. $58,800. I like it. Wow. I wonder why though. That's unexpected completely. Normally when they give you reputation, you get little squeak of reputation. When they take it away, they take away about that much. So why I suddenly got that huge jump in reputation right there? That's like 2 months worth of reputation for me in one shot. That was a big leap. All right, level 142, which means we can cast like 16 fireballs around. Should get a +1 to our initiative or such and such. Just a little D&D joke there. Okay, so let's see what's available. Where can we go now? North. That's going to take us back into Russia, right? Cheetah. I don't know where Cheetah is at. That one's going south. Not very far, though. It's going north. This is where we were at last time, so we could take something from here. Nice. Okay, good. So we've got some options. Wish we could see these better zoomed out. They all overlap one another. You have to be down here. Then you can't see where the hell you're going. Then it does crap like that. Click on one and it vanishes. So we'll look for one like this one. We'll go to Bangfly. Yeah, we've never been in this area of the world before. See if we can't head towards, I suppose, India or just, again, wherever the wind's going to blow us. Just want to get out of China. Man, the world is a big place. So where are we at now? 1,449,180 credits. May sound like a lot, but that's nothing. That is nothing. But I guess you can, once you start creating companies, you can earn a lot more faster. But I guess, you know, the cost of insurance and everything. So I'm still really in no great hurry. I would love for them to add in the other aircraft first before I start a company. I invested in the Skyvan and bought the Skyvan because I like it way more than the Caravan. I'm in love with the Caravan. But when I saw the Skyvan, I really fell in love. It's tall enough to stand in, and it's got a cargo hatch. You can put a bed back in there. My dream when I did my first world tour from Germany all the way down through Macedonia, down through the route of Alexander the Great. The whole time we were flying in the Caravan doing cargo runs. And as I would fly, I would do my smoke break, sit in the back, and just dream about living in the thing. Because we practically were living in the thing. I wanted a little bed over here, and a little stove over here, and a little this over there, and thought how nice it would be to trick one of the Caravans out for like an RV. And I said, oh, if I could just find something just a bit bigger. Just a bit bigger. Nothing, I don't want to move up to an airliner, you know. And then I found the Skyvan from World War II. And oh man, I love it. So I would love them to allow us to use the third-party aircraft and then start a company. Let me show you it if you haven't seen it. There's still some things on takeoff I don't fully understand that I get wrong sometimes. And I lose power on takeoff. I'm not doing something right. A little more to learn. But let me show you the thing. They've taken away all of our skins for 2024. They have some really wild colored one, including one that looks like a hippie one with giant lips and teeth on it. One that looks like Nemo from Finding Nemo. Too bad we can't rotate these things. So yeah. Everybody calls it, the flying box. It's literally a flying box, but again, you can stand up in that thing. You could put a full-length bed in there. You could put everything that you would want in an RV into this interior with a little bit of cargo room left over. I absolutely love it. And that's what I want to do cargo missions with. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in today. It's 4:43. I need to wrap it up. This has been episode 324 of Skydude. Thank you to Farmer Tech 51 for coming in and hanging out with me. Thank you to Zooplick, who came in today. Thank you to KW94 for coming in today. I really appreciate you. Thanks for all the tips in flying and the education and the knowledge, for sharing all that. Thank you to Forza Motors. And I know Henning is busy, so I'm going to send out a thank you to Henning anyway. And to Hans and Bruno and Sarge and Rent-A-Cow and anybody else I'm missing. Hope you're all doing well. And hopefully we'll see you soon. This show not brought to you by Clorox.